Chapter 2, Our Mountains. The whole village would climb the first mountain to have a picnic and play games. We would all have, at one point during the picnic, look over the edge to certain death. Always there were jokesters ready to scare you about the edge. The second mountain was rounded and had rock people. This mountain also had the biggest patch of blackberries you ever seen. One summer, my grandma Heidi and Aaron wanted to get these yummy berries but needed a kid to go with them. I volunteered with a shout and a jump in the air. Rock people is all I could think of. Rock people. Rock people are part of the legend of long ago. When someone passed on and was loved and respected, the living would go and build a rock person to remember and honor the person in life. You can still see them today. Grandma Heidi and Aaron got lunch together with some fresh water and berry pickers. Away we went. We got to the top and it looked like a giant had picked all day, then spilled them all over the top of this mountain without picking them up. Grandma Heidi had these berry pickers that all we had to do was rake this wonderful device on the patch, and like magic it filled the bag full of yummy blackberries. After lunch, we went visited and prayed for the rock people. They were legends. I was moved by the look and feel of these long ago people of Red River. My little village had important people in it and had been immortalized to be rock people. I slowly walked up to the first one and noticed that they were old, with lichen and moss on them. This is what kept them standing. They were simple figures of rock piled up to look like a person standing. These rock people had stood there for years. You could almost imagine their life story being told while they were being built. What were their greatest accomplishments to be venerated after death? There were several, about 15 or so rock people standing there, all looking at the village. How did these rock people survive the storms, earthquakes, and test of time? Awe is all I can think of on the way down that mountain full of berries and of an ancient time. The third mountain in front the ocean that we had climbed had a wishing well at the top. This was the mountain that was most climbed because it was the easiest one to climb, except at the very top, 200 feet or so. This always made me uneasy and feel like I was just roll off this mountain with one wrong step. I always felt like I was walking where my people before me walked. The path to the top of the mountain was well defined and took many steps to make this path. On a beautiful clear day you could see several smoking volcanoes on the mainland. Volcanic ash was spread all across the sky in long lines that sometimes blended together to make one long ash cloud. Looking out across behind the mountain was always so rewarding. We made it to see the backside of the mountains. Incredible. The fourth mountain looked like it came straight up from the bottom of the ocean with how steep it was compared to the other three. Most of the mountain was all rock with the bottom half covered in vegetation. We did not climb this mountain unless we had a large group. One summer afternoon, we climbed the fourth mountain to pick berries on the way down. My brother Victor came bursting through the door to drag me to climb the mountain. My dad had pancakes for breakfast and rolled them up with peanut butter and jelly, my favorite snack for hiking. Oh yeah, with jars of hot tea. Jars of hot tea and water. Away we went. We caught up with the rest of the group at the foot of the mountain. We felt like we were about to ascend Mount Everest. This mountain is rockier to climb than the others. When we got halfway up, I was thinking, we have to come back this way, but down and tired. The trail has been there for a long time. A beaten down path carved into a mountain we barely climb. Many, many generations of walking this path has made it what it is today. We went through the thick alders to a creek that felt like a small waterfall, felt like an old trail to get to ancient grounds. We made it to the top without any problems. Being on top of this mountain was breathtaking, at almost the highest peak. We had a picnic, then some games like hide and seek, not it, and how far can you throw a rock off the mountain. Tired and ready to go back to the village, we start down Mount Everest. We got through the creek waterfall to come out into the open to pick berries on the way down. We usually had a coffee can tied to a string. Mine did not have the string through it, and I dropped my can. It took off on a race to the bottom of the mountain. I chased after it for 100 feet or so and decided that it would wait for me at the bottom. But at this point, I had separated myself from the group. Not good. About halfway down the mountain, there was a patch of alders about 50 feet wide. I was walking slowly, waiting for the group to catch up to me so we could hit the berry bushes at the same time. I turned to look up at them. The patch of alders in the center started to sway back and forth vigorously. Those moments when you try to recall, this is what you do when you come across a brown bear. What everyone tells you while you are safe and sound at home. First thought is to not run, but you free one to save you when danger is near. I was not the first one to start running. They were. Of course, they were closer to the brown bear than I was. We all seen the bushes sway back and forth again, and they all took off at the same time towards me. I was thinking, don't run. But my feet seen others run and took off down the side of the mountain before my brain could think of anything else. Now when you run down a steep, grassy, hilly mountain, you kind of like got superpowers. One leap felt like 16 feet in one stride. We were afraid of this huge 20-foot-tall, 2,000-pound angry bear after us for disturbing his afternoon nap. So we were running full out down the mountain with a bear chasing us, or so we imagined. We ran until we were all so exhausted. We stopped out of breath, counting everyone. No one was left behind. Whew! It turned out the bear didn't even come out of the alders to chase us. So we went about picking some berries and returned to the village.